In this segment, we'd like to work through a tune called Moonlight in Vermont. It's a great old standard, been around a long time, but it really is a lovely tune. And to work through it is my good friend, Andy LaVerne. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Scott.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Well, I appreciate you joining us to do this one. You actually, before we got rolling, I'd love to hear it. I have kind of a funny story about, to go ahead and relate to this about this
sure,
tune.
I'll start with where the story ends, kind of, that I recorded this tune with Neil Sedaka, you know, the great singer, songwriter, piano player. Neil's a great piano player, too, by the way.
Which was kind of shocking, thinking that he wasn't playing piano. That's when you first said that, like, why are you playing with Neil Sedaka?
Yeah, well, here's the beginning of the story. I got hired to play on a record with a vocalist. Her name was Dara Sedaka. And I got called from a Japanese record producer. It was a Japanese company. Yeah. So when he first called me and said Dara Sedaka, I just thought she was Japanese. But then I met her. Obviously, she was not Japanese. So I still didn't put her together with Neil for some reason.
Right.
And we were recording the recording. And she came into the studio one of the last days of the recording, and she said, "Hey, I just played some of the music for my dad, and he really liked it." And I said, "Well, that's great. You know, glad he liked it." She said, "Yeah, my dad, Neil Sedaka. Neil Sedaka is your dad?" So I finally put that together. You know.
Right. Like, okay.
And anyway, shortly after that, I got a call from Neil, and he said he wanted to do a trio record doing standards, and he wanted me to play piano on it. So
that's great.
That's how it started, and then I ended up actually playing with him on and off for about 6 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Now, how did that happen, actually? Not to get into this too deeply, but why wasn't he playing? It just, when he wasn't on stage, he wanted to have another...
Neil plays great, you know, pop piano and classical piano, but I don't think he really plays much jazz.
Okay.
And he seemed really fascinated with jazz. I mean, he really seemed to like a lot, but I don't think he plays that style.
He just really didn't have it underhand comfortable enough to knock it out.
Yeah.
Well, he found a good partner to work with.
Well, it was a lot of fun playing with him.
Sounds
and I loved
like
his music too.
Oh yeah, it's cool stuff, no doubt about it. Well, let's play a couple measures of this tune so we can get the kind of the tonal center in our head and everything. Okay. Moonlight in Vermont. Yeah. Great. That is. It's a pretty identical. Ba da 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 da. Ba ba da ba da da da. Yeah. It's a good melody that way. Now, everyone can interpret these their own way. You have any little, twist that you put in this from a chord change standpoint?
I do. Actually, on this part, let's see. Right here.
Yeah, that is kind of a...
It stays there on that D flat 7 for 2 bars.
Well, that is kind of an interesting chord change there, too. That is always, when you're playing this tune, you always have to stop and think for a minute, like, wait, where's this go?
That's right.
It's like, whoa, that's not falling where I expected it.
Yeah. But what I came up with, I kind of approached that from a whole step above. And then I kind of got this sound in my head, a very simple sound, dominant 7 sound. So
that sounds really heavy, but when you explain it, it's not that deep. So let's just give those chords away. So you're stuck on a D flat.
Right.
7.
So before the D flat 7, I'm playing an E flat 7.
Okay.
And I'm just using a root and a 5th here and a 3rd and a 7th here.
Ba da da.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the melody, and now I'm sort of departing from the melody and just filling in some more space.
And here we go. So that's B7, B, D flat,
E flat. I can go wherever I want, really. Maybe to G here, because the melody is coming back in.
So do that in time now, working through so we can hear it with the melody, that's great. Yeah. And it really isn't that brutally hard to play.
No, it's
not. It is just a bunch of 7th chords going up a scale, but it just makes your brain's going, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of raises the level a little bit.
It does.
Harmonically.
And that's a good one. Okay. We'll keep working through the tune a little bit. And
then let's see. Here's the bridge. And what I like to do on the bridge is put it over a pedal point. So the chords are still moving the same way that they would move.
I was just going to say, play it. Okay. See, I always kind of struggle there in the bridges too, because the melody line is just on that same, da 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 da.
There's not a lot of motion there.
Yeah, there really isn't.
And then you have that big jump, the octave jump. But so if you kind of mirror that in the left hand, kind of grounds it a little bit,
That's neat. Okay. So then
step up.
Okay, let's go back to that first one so
Yeah.
we can just give that away when someone's
Sure.
really wanting to do it in this key. So instead of it, where it normally would be...
It would be an A minor
A
to a D to a G to E to A, D, G.
Okay, a lot of 2/5s.
Right.
We're used to hearing that.
Right.
Okay, so instead of that...
So instead of that, I'm still playing those chords in my right hand, but in my left hand, I'm just playing a pedal point of a D.
D. Okay, so you're staying on the D. This is D.
There's the E7, there's the A minor, D, and now I'm resolving it to the G.
Okay. Now doing the same thing, so now we're starting on the E flat.
Right.
Okay.
So this is B flat minor over E flat, E flat 7, A flat major, F7,
Yeah, so the A there, okay.
B flat minor, E flat 7,
Okay.
A flat major.
That's really, the changes are so nice. In the original changes are so nice
Yeah,
right there, where that
yeah.
changes from the bridge and gets itself worked back into the, kind of the tonal center of
Yes.
the A section. That's
Yeah.
a nice part of that tune. And you're not doing anything sneaky there, right?
No,
You're just playing
no.
it right through.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes in these tunes you have those kind of nuggets, those harmonic nuggets that are really good, and you don't really want to mess with those too much.
Play those last couple measures of the bridge there again, so we'll hear that one more
Yeah,
time. I know it's hard to
let's
jump
see,
in the
from
middle
the-
of this.
from
I'm
the E
sorry.
flat,
Sure. Yeah. And the melody in that whole thing is just da 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 da.
Right, just that one note.
Yeah. Da 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 da.
Up an octave,
Okay.
A flat major,
And what's
to
that?
B flat 7, augmented.
And it'll go back home. Okay. Nice. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Is there one more comment before we hear you
Yeah.
play it? Is this thought of, here's another one of those tunes that just kind of flows down the pike, and you're playing it. I'm getting to the rhythm thing.
Yeah.
Have you ever done this either in either a different tempo or either up or something to do differently so you can really add some rhythmic spice to this?
Sure, you could play it as a medium or up-tempo tune.
And when you do that, and
Yeah.
I know you'll play, but try to, and I know it's sometimes hard for you guys to come backwards a little bit, but what really, down in brass tacks, does that mean? What are you doing differently?
Well, the tempo is increasing.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's just, are you playing exactly the same thing but faster? I mean,
You
or what are you
can.
doing rhythmically
Yeah,
to make it sound that way?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah. More in your head, or you have more do by do.
Yeah, so
do,
more of a
do,
swing
ah,
feel
so
to
you're-
it.
as
Yeah.
opposed to this
Yeah,
more straight
more
thing.
straight, right. So yeah, when you're playing faster, I guess if you're playing in kind of a jazz style, you want to have more of a swing,
More of a syncopated swing and feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's simple enough. It is kind of funny. Sometimes we just say, well, pick it up. And
Right.
then I'll get emails saying, well, what do you mean pick it up? You know,
Right.
What do I do differently to pick it up? And it is kind of
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
to go backwards and do that. So, well, listen, let's hear you play the whole tune then.
Okay.
We'll keep our eyes out for that interesting, the whole seventh run-up thing. That's
Yeah.
a good one. And then we'll also pay attention to the pedal tone in the bridge.
Okay.
Thanks, Andy.
I'll try to do that too.
Yeah. No pressure.
Okay.
That was terrific. Thanks very much. I appreciate
Sure.
it.